Hi everyone, this morning I'm at a local grocery store and I'm going to be talking to my friend TJ, who knows a lot about produce, has worked in the restaurant industry and now in produce stocking and development in Portland. So he's going to tell us more about what it means to shop local and what's fresh and in season right now.
My name is TJ. I am your local produce guy. I have been doing this for just shy of 20 years, so there's a lot I know. There's a lot I don't know, but let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now in the Northwest. It's July. There's a lot of good things happening. I mean, you got a lot of local fruits, you got a lot of local vegetables. This is the time of the year this is the good time of year for the Willamette Valley, Pacific Northwest in general. Some of the really good things that are going on right now are the melons, the stone fruits, corn. What else we got going on? Just tomatoes. We're just bumper crops, peppers, everything that you can just think of. Mary Hill peaches are in season right now. They are utterly fantastic. They're some of the sweetest you're going to find. We've got great California nectarines and plums. We're still waiting on the Washington to arrive to us very soon. The corn is fantastic, very tasty, very sweet. What else do we have going on? The melons. Most of them almost always come out of California and Arizona this time of the year, but this is the peak season for them. Hermiston watermelons have just shown up. They're always what everybody is looking for. Very bright, very juicy, good stuff. What else do we have going on right now?
Hey TJ, what you doing over here?
I am fixing the stone fruit display. We've got some nectarines, we've got some plums, we've got some peaches, we've got some frulots, we've got some apricots, we've got some more plums over there. This is the stuff to be eating right now in the summer. This is prime time for this product. So see this here? This is a nice ripe red plum, ready to go. Super sweet, super juicy. I mean, this is what we want to eat right now. This peach. You're not going to have a better peach unless you're in Georgia, and even then I would hesitate to agree. Beautiful Washington apricots. Not really my gig, but they're pretty tasty. You know, and then of course, you know, another summertime favorite, nectarines. Can't go wrong with a sweet, juicy nectarine.
So how do I tell if they're ripe?
So for any stone fruit, you just want to have just the slightest amount of give on the body. Do not squeeze it. All you have to do is feel it. If it feels a little firm, it's not quite ready. Give it a day or two. Barely have to touch it, and you're going to feel it give just that little bit of a squeeze to it, and bam, ready to go, juicy. You're not going to get it any better than that. Unless you're like one person that I know that everything has to be rock hard, and I totally disagree with that.
Hi everybody, I just want to layer on what TJ is saying about the different fruits and vegetables that we're hearing about today with some of the nutritional value and information. So this is a great book, Eating on the Wild Side by Joe Robinson, that I found in a free library in Portland and picked up on a whim, but has been really important in helping me learn more about the antioxidant value of different fruits and vegetables and how to choose the best ones. So when you're thinking about stone fruit, you really want to buy ripe or almost ripe stone fruit. If that stone fruit has been exposed to cold during its shipping process, it's not going to ripen. So when it's on the grocery store shelf, if you feel it and it doesn't give under your gentle touch, it's probably not going to ripen much more than it is now. So go ahead and buy the ripe ones that you find and eat them soon. We didn't have any white flesh peaches or nectarines to talk about in the store, but those are actually the higher antioxidant value than their yellow cousins. This kind of goes against the rule of the deeper the color, the more the health benefit. So actually the white fleshed versions have much more antioxidants, so feel free to choose those. They also taste sweeter, and TJ would vouch for that with me. You want to make sure with stone fruit especially that you're eating the skins. That's where most of the nutritional value lies. And these are thin skin fruits, so make sure you're buying organic if you can and washing them well. They often are treated with pesticides. Cherries and peaches and nectarines are on the top of the Dirty Dozen list. So if you can buy organic, it's the best choice. When you're talking about apricots and plums, you want to find the deepest, darkest color that you can. Those are going to be better for you as far as nutritional value. And have you heard of dried plums, also known as prunes? You can find them easily in the store. They are probably one of our highest antioxidant fruits, and you can look for versions that don't have added sugar. It's a great thing to add to your daily rainbow, and a recent study showed that they're also good for bone health. So what's going on over here?
So here we've got, at the moment it's California corn, Brentwood, California. It's actually the best corn you're going to get right now until the local corn really comes into full effect, which is about 2 more weeks. And this is that we're kind of at the end of July, so it's usually first or second week of August for the really, really good local corn. But for now we have the Brentwood, California corn. Fantastic. Nice, beautiful, clean lines, white, bicolor, yellow. It's just beautiful stuff. To choose an ear of corn, all you have to do is grab it and just feel on the outside. You feel no bumps, you feel no bruises, feel here at the tip. If it just feels solid, boom, you're done. No need to peel corn back. There's no reason to do that whatsoever. You just go by feel.
When we're talking about the nutritional value of corn, you're not going to find red or purple corn fresh in your grocery store. If you can find that for popcorn or for whole grain cornmeal, you're going to want to go with a red or purple variety. You're going to get a better bang for your buck as far as the antioxidants. But in the store, choose the darkest yellow corn you can. That's going to be your best option. You know, corn is a whole grain if it's corn on the cob or kerneled corn, but it is a higher glycemic index, and the corn today has been bred for sweetness. So probably something you want to minimize, but while it's fresh and local, you might as well do some corn on the cob. You want to steam, grill, or actually cook your corn in the microwave. You can throw it in the microwave in the husk, and it's going to retain a lot of its nutritional value that way. If you boil corn on the cob, you're going to lose a lot of nutritional value. Another great way to get corn any time of the year is canned or frozen. Canned and frozen corn does not lose much of its nutritional value. In the canning process, you are going to lose a little bit of vitamin C, but frozen shelled corn retains all of its nutritional value, and it's a great way to get corn year-round when it's not available locally. You also want to choose organic if you can with corn, because a lot of corn in this country is treated heavily with pesticides. All right, so melons, they're hot this season, right?
They are, most definitely. And what I have in my hand right now, both happen to be organic. This is an organic Charente melon, which is essentially a cantaloupe, but a little bit different. This is an organic dark shell watermelon. Super tasty. The only real difference is the color of the rind on it. It just happens to be dark green instead of your traditional watermelon green color. I know that's not a true color, but yes, that's what I'm calling it.
So what about watermelons?
So the watermelons are a little bit trickier. You can never really tell because you have to cut them open essentially to know that you chose right. A couple of ways you want to look for is you want it to be nice and solid. You want it to be heavy for its size. If you smack it a little bit, does it sound hollow? If it sounds hollow, you're going to have a problem. Does it sound solid? You're good to go. If it has a little yellow mark on it, that only means that that's where it was shaded. It either sat in the field like that or a leaf was over the top of it. That's it. It does not affect the flavor or anything about the watermelon. That's it. That's how I would pick one.
Hey guys, here's what TJ was talking about with the shading. This is where the watermelon sat on the ground or it had a leaf over it, so that doesn't affect the flavor. It's just where the rind wasn't exposed to the sun. All right, how do I tell if this thing is ripe?
So on the cantaloupe, a lot of people like to push in on an end and see if it's soft, has any give. It can work, but it doesn't necessarily work. Some people shake it to hear what's going on inside. Are the seeds moving around? Whatever. What I choose to do is I choose to give the skin just a touch of a scratch and smell it. If it smells like the melon you're looking for, it's ready to go.
All right, TJ, so you were talking about the color of the melon and really telling if it's ripe. Tell me more about this here.
So as you can see, we've got some cup melons here. We've got some organic Charentes. We've got some organic yummy watermelons that are about to actually be harvested out of Washington State as well. Currently, they're still coming out of California. So as you can see, the Charentes are always going to have a green rind on here, sometimes thinner, sometimes thicker, but this is what it's going to look like, and it's going to be so tasty. And like I said, all you have to do is scratch the skin. If it smells like a cantaloupe, it's good to go. Same thing with your cantaloupe or with your watermelons here. When you knock on them, it's going to sound, solid. You see, there's no open cavities in here, and this is what you're looking for. Unfortunately for watermelons, it's never 100%, but that's the best you can hope for, and this is what you're going to end up wanting and looking for.
So when you're looking at the cut melons, you really want that dark red flesh.
As dark as you can get it, but it doesn't always have to be. Sometimes it's a little bit lighter, but avoid pale. Avoid pale. If it's white, it shouldn't even be on a table. That shouldn't be on display. It should be composted.
Just not ripe.
It tastes like a cucumber.
So when we're talking about melons, they're not highly nutritious. They're mostly water, so they are refreshing and can hydrate you. Watermelon is a good source of iron, and so are peaches. But really, there's not a ton of nutrition in melons. So use it as a nice summer treat, as a sweet treat, but don't depend on it as your high antioxidant food. The deeper red or the deeper orange the flesh is, the more nutritional value it's going to have. It's interesting, but smaller and seedless varieties of watermelon actually have a higher nutritional value than some of the bigger heirloom varieties. TJ showed us a lot of things to look for a ripe melon. One of the things we didn't talk about is the appearance of the skin. If the skin is dull on a watermelon, it's actually going to be more likely to be ripe than a shiny skinned watermelon. Also, that shade patch should be yellow. That's going to indicate a more ripe fruit. One trick with your melons is storing them at room temperature for a few days after buying them. That actually increases the antioxidant value. Honeydews and cassava melons are not really highly nutritious. They're mostly sugar, but orange-colored honeydews actually have a higher nutritional value than their cantaloupe cousins. So if you're looking for some more beta-carotene, an orange honeydew is going to give you that. One thing about melons is, of course, they're grown on the ground, so you want to make sure that you're cleaning them thoroughly to remove any harmful bacteria, really scrubbing it with a soft brush under running water, especially those cantaloupes and other melons with a ridged rind. That's where bacteria can hide. So make sure you clean them thoroughly. All right, so tomatoes, tell me more.
So right now, the one and only tomato to buy is the Oregon Star tomato. It's grown at Flamingo Ridge Farms in Gaston, Oregon by a wonderful farmer. These tomatoes are so freaking juicy and delicious. I don't have the vocabulary for it. They are seedless. They are perfect on anything you want to put it on. Salads, burgers, caprese salads. Yeah, I don't care about those, but still, this is the tomato. So juicy, like right now, just gorgeous. One and only tomato.
How do I find a ripe tomato? What am I looking for?
We're not open yet. Oh, 7 o'clock. Got about 15 minutes. Okay. Well, on a ripe tomato, the only thing you're looking for is color and a little bit of a firmness to it, not too soft. If it's a little soft, you're gonna want to use it for like pico de gallo or salsa or tomato sauce. But if you want to just eat it out of hand or on a burger or something of that nature, you want it to just be a little bit firmer. You don't want it to be rock hard, but a firm tomato is still, if it's a quality tomato, a firm tomato is still going to be fantastic.
And when we're talking tomatoes, TJ gave us some ideas of how to choose a ripe tomato. You also want to find one that's the deepest red in color that you can find. That means it was picked closer to the time of ripening, and it's also ripe and ready to eat. It's going to have a higher lycopene content as well, which is one of the great antioxidants in tomatoes. You want to look for potentially smaller and darker red tomatoes. Those are going to be a higher nutritional value. When you get your tomatoes home, store them at room temperature. That's going to preserve their nutritional value. Also, think about eating and cooking with all of the parts of the tomatoes. The seeds and the skin have the highest amount of nutrients than in the rest of the fruit. And tomatoes are one of those interesting fruits and vegetables that when cooked, it actually increases its nutritional value. So for a lot of other veggies, like we talked about, the corn loses nutritional value in cooking. Tomatoes are the opposite. So tomato paste is actually one of the highest antioxidant value foods you can find in the grocery store and will add a lot of flavor to your everyday cooking.